Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues. Happy Democracy Day, wherever you are, in Nigeria or outside. The good thing about virtual platform nowadays is that you cannot predict where a participant is joining the program from. The most important thing is that we are all connected, thanks to technology, also thanks to COVID. Maybe without COVID, there won't have been any urge for all of us to participate in most of the programs because it would have been very difficult for us in some cases to join some of those programs for circumstances beyond our control. But the good thing is that it's so flexible. On the road, you can join. Physically, you can join. In the comfort of your homes or offices, you can join. So let's be talking about the opportunities that COVID has opened to all of us. This particular program is the first of its kind, also necessitated by the recent developments. The good thing about life is that you continue to monitor what is happening, continue to adapt, adjust, address, and reassess yourself in such a way that you still be relevant in the scheme of things. We got feedback from relevant stakeholders on what we need to do better. And the best gift you can receive in life is feedback. The good thing about feedback is that it's free. And if you work on it, it's in your interest. So we must be conscious of that. And that is why whatever position you occupy, whoever you might be conscious of what people say. That is the feedback. Reflect on it. Yes, they will not be 100% correct, but in almost all cases, they will be more than 50% correct. For you to adjust, it's an opportunity whenever you receive feedback to respond to the issues raised in an open manner, to show that you are flexible and receptive to those comments, and then provide your own point of view if you feel you have any. However, if you feel that it makes sense, what they are saying, please do not hesitate. We are not God. We are called human beings because we are human, and because we are human, we are bound to make mistakes, and because we are bound to make mistakes, we must be willing to adjust and then move on so that we can move faster to achieve our desired goal. So it's on that note that I will now draw our attention to the fact that maybe let me also congratulate our graduates for participating in the program. You ask yourself, why do you register for a professional exam? The main reason basically is to acquire knowledge. When you acquire knowledge, the second, the consequence of that is that you'll be able to use that knowledge widely. You acquire knowledge not to be employed alone, but also to put yourself in a position to employ others, or to manage your own affairs or business better. That is the main purpose of acquiring knowledge. So knowledge should not be seen as something solely to be acquired for the purpose of getting employment. No, it is to be acquired for the purpose of empowering yourself, and that makes the difference between us and our grandparents who did not go to school. You are in a position to reason broadly, in terms of scope, and also the depth of your reasoning and consideration should be wider. So that is the most important consideration. And that is why you see a lot of people in business. They are making it not because they have gone to school alone, but because of the knowledge they have acquired. And the beauty of knowledge is that it doesn't matter the field where that knowledge is acquired. It will be useful one day. So the professional exams of the institute basically is to empower aspiring member of the institute to have the desired knowledge, to be in a position to assist businesses to thrive, to be in a position to set up his or her own business, to manage those businesses in such a way that they will be in a position to achieve the desired purpose, which is profitability, and then to ensure that those businesses will be in place for a very long period of time. So that is the first thing that must be said. The second aspect relates to, yes, after acquiring the knowledge, you also, it's an investment, and because it's an investment, there must be returns. So the returns, in what way will it come? It then depends on your focus. What do you want to achieve in life? You've seen a lot of PhD holders who are pastors of churches, and you see the way they manage those churches. You can't compare with the way the other people who do not have a degree are managing those the churches or mosques they preside over. And the difference is that they are able to think broadly in terms of scope. They are able to bring into play innovations that will make a difference. They are able to differentiate their organization and institutions from others. And that is why a lot of people are also following up. So when you become, or after you have qualified, having passed through this examination, you have the opportunity of knowing more about social sciences. You have, in terms of management, you have opportunity of knowing about financial accounting. You have opportunity of knowing about taxation. You have opportunity of knowing about corporate governance, corporate finance, company secretarial practice. And the implication of that is that even when you become maybe the chairman of any company, or the managing director of any company, or a director of any company, or a manager or employee of any company, there are certain things you know that nobody can tell you, or that nobody can just maybe find a way to just force you to accept their opinion, because you know those things due to the fact that you have acquired them. And if you decide to apply for employment, there are certain expectations. Yes, you know what you are being taught, but also organizations, they have their own expectations. They have their own set skills, and you also need to do something. You need to also project yourself as a professional. That is what they call marketing. That is the real word. However, in modern parlance, they call it packaging. So you need to present yourself properly. You need to market yourself properly. You need to package yourself properly. You need to present yourself in a presentable manner, and that will be acceptable to those who are meeting with you for the first time. Because when they have the first impression about you, that gives you credit in your pool already. But when the presentation, or the way the carriage, or the way you even reach out to the organization is not convincing enough, there will be doubt about what is the difference between this particular person who claims to be a professional and a graduate. And that is why we need to reflect on this and find a way to communicate to people that we have the knowledge, and we can impart the knowledge, and the knowledge will be beneficial to the relevant stakeholders that will be interfacing with us. Because don't forget, first impression, they say, matters. So your first impression, maybe you are applying to an organization, your CV, that is your first impression of who they are talking to. And that will give them the idea of, do we even need to spend time further with this person? And that is why we need to have those background information. And today we are fortunate to have some experts working in the corporate field who are gurus. They are my distinguished colleagues. They will tell you from the other side, that is the employer side, what are those things they are looking for in any applicant. And you can have an idea from them about the corporate culture, so that you also try as much as possible to fit into those settings, so that there won't be any problem. As you are aware, we have this graduate internship scheme. The graduate internship scheme is a program whereby we expose our young graduates to some organizations, reputable organizations, where they can work for a period between 3 months and 6 months. And those who are fortunate, it has been extended to 1 year or beyond, and some have been given permanent employment. However, there is no organization, reputable organization, that we post anybody to that would not want to interact with that kind of prospective intern. Before the interaction, they want to screen your CV, the way you present yourself. because you are the one speaking virtually. In this case now, though they are holding your CV, it's as if you are appearing before them and you are just doing a short intro to them. And the way you present yourself determines whether should we even waste our time with this person. And that is why it is necessary that we need to put in place certain things to assist us. Because recently we discovered that we sent some CV to some organizations, and they raised concerns concerning the quality of the CV, the way those CVs were prepared. And we felt that let's go a little bit further. Apart from the graduate internship scheme, let's try as much as possible to sensitize our members on the expectations of stakeholders. We are not talking of companies alone, we are talking of organizations. And even if you set up the organization, you should also have an expectation of those who should work with you. And the expectation will be, what do you want them to be like? Because you have a vacancy. In the vacancy, you have a specification of who you are expecting. So the first thing that gives you the impression that the person before you is a fit for that particular position is maybe the way he presents himself through oral discussion or a CV. So please listen to these tips today and find a way to make appropriate modifications that will assist you to achieve your desired purpose. And feel free also to ask questions. As I said, there are several things that we can do as professionals. But in any place you find yourself, even in your environment, even in your churches or mosques, please market yourself. You should not expect that people will be looking for you. Some of us, after passing this exam, we are not even proud enough to display or to show that we are a member of the institute. How many of us how many of us do remember our examination number? We are not, we do not remember. Apart from that, how many of us have been bold enough to announce ourselves in any occasion to say, I'm a charter secretary? Feel free, be proud of your profession, announce yourself as a charter secretary. Let people be curious about what are the roles of charter secretaries. When you do that, then you open that opportunity for people to say, what do you actually do? Okay, in what way can you be relevant? But if you are afraid or if you are ashamed of your profession, then it becomes an issue. And that is why I've been telling our people over the time that if you are not proud of your profession cannot make you proud. You must be proud of your profession first before your profession can make you proud. I know of some professional institutes like ICANN. Immediately at any public gathering, whenever they announce their name, they must say membership number, blah, blah, blah. It gives them, it's a free advert. Because from there, even the general public, people get to know that you are a charter secretary, and then they can say, please, auntie or brother, what is this your institute all about? What can you do for us? So announce yourself, be proud of your profession so that your profession can make you proud. And then if you have any issue, fortunately, we have graduate WhatsApp platform. Throw the issue there. And when you are engaged, please, when you are asked a question or you are given an assignment that you know you do not have the capacity to handle, please feel free to throw that kind of assignment or proposal or a poser on the platform so that people can guide you. Don't mislead, don't give wrong advice to a client in such a way that forever it can tarnish or dent your professional reputation. If you don't know, be bold enough to say, I don't know. And you must have heard me say this several times. Ignorance is a virtue, and it is even more virtuous when it is displayed with confidence. I don't know shows that you want to know. Don't be ashamed. Please, you take advantage of your professional colleagues, ask questions so that they can guide you. The secretariat is also there. If you don't know what to do at any point in time, feel free to contact them. That is why we have the secretariat. As much as possible, we are there to support you. The secretariat is there to support you. Your colleagues are there to support you. Use them. You are just like you are just like the anchor person for the entire institute, wherever you are. And take advantage of those behind you, the platform, the institute, your colleagues. Ask questions, seek guidance, and then as much as possible, we will grow together, and then the institute will expand. So it's on that note that I welcome you to this program, and I wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much for welcome remarks, and of course loaded with a lot of nuggets that I know that we're taking out of here today. Thank you for that. You prepared the ground and we're really grateful for that. So we're just going to go right into today's agenda, and would like to invite Mrs. Bidemi Ademola to please take her paper. I think we can take it for granted that we all know who Ms. Abidemi Ademola is, right? She's the General Counsel, Company Secretary of Unilever, Nigeria and Ghana. And she's very prominent. She has a lot of achievements, speaking for her with the MBA and so many other professional forums, right? I can almost say she's a veteran when it comes to the company secretarial practice. So please, right now, as we take our first topic to be delivered by Mrs. Ademola, getting the best from your ICSAN certificate. Mrs. Ademola, thank you for joining. We hand over to you now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Lasende, my wonderful sister. Good morning, everyone. My distinguished chairman of council, Mr. Ayeku, the registrar, my sister, Biola Lasende, and my other sister, Mrs. Oluwole. It's really a pleasure to be here. And I count it a privilege to be able to, in some way, impact the next generation. I have my screen already, my slide already on the screen. Please confirm that you can see it.
Yes, we can. Okay. It's up already.
Fantastic. So this morning, what I'm going to be doing basically is just sharing my own experience with you, my own journey, and hoping and believing that, you will take learnings from it. And I know that today we'll be able to engage and interact as much as possible so that, you are confident to start your career. You're confident that you have people around you who can support you in your journey.
Mrs. Ademola.
Yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. I wanted to announce to the participants that they should please use the chat box to drop your, immediate questions, comments. Then we can sift through while we open the mic later for further questions and comments. So please use it, and let's just keep our mic mute throughout this presentation. Thank you so much. Apologies again, Bidemi.
No, it's fine. It's fine. All right, so our outline today is very simple. It's really talking through the professional career that the ICSAN certificate offers us, a bit about securing a job and then keeping the job. Mindful that my other sister, Ms. Oluwole, will really drill down into the job bits, later on. All right, so I think the first thing to note is that the ICSAN certificate is a highly regarded professional certificate, all right? I know that there was a time that, the clouds behind that certificate sort of went down, but thanks to, the leadership of Mr. Ayeku and all the other council members, like Mrs. Lasende, the registrar, where again, taking our place as the hub of governance professionals within and outside the country. So I'm extremely proud to be a member of the ICSAN myself. So it's a wonderful and highly regarded professional certificate you have in your hand, and never take it for granted, all right? So the training that you went through, the modules, they are extremely rich, and they make you a well-rounded professional. I have had to use all the things I've learned, as an ICSAN student. and in my career. And so I just want to lay that foundation so that you know that what you have in your hands is something that it's a launching pad to so many other things that you can become in your career and professional life. So obviously when you're a student, you take the lectures, you take the exams, and of course, as a graduate, you've successfully completed your modules. And then you go ahead and apply for the associate certification. You go through the induction. And then I know that right now there's something called there's a system of accelerated membership as well that has been reintroduced, because I think it used to be there before. And then we sort of went quiet a bit, and then it's come back to life. And then obviously continuous education. ICSAN, I must say that ICSAN is still one of the institutes that has the most webinars, whether from the state's ICSAN teams, or even from the, central ICSAN team as well. So every other week, there's something available that ICSAN is doing. And I just want to encourage you to avail yourself of those webinars, because I personally, when I'm able to attend, I always leave those webinars, enriched in my knowledge and, more equipped, to make an impact in my career. And then the other bit is, attaining fellowship. And this is when you've gone through years and years of experience, you've acquired your experience, and then you feel you've done your continuous education, you've earned your merit points, and then you are able to apply for the ICSAN fellowship. So that's sort of, how the ICSAN professional career path is. But what I want to really drill down on today is really around, what does it portend for you? The first thing to note is that when you become, when you get your ICSAN certificate, you become a governance professional. We're called the hub of governance professionals. And it is not by mouth, it is that the training, the education that you've gone through actually helps you to begin to think a lot about, what governance is. Corporate governance, public governance, governance in terms of making sure that, structures are in place and processes are in place to make sure that whatever it is that we're working on is actually lasting. It's like you've built a strong foundation. Governance is like the foundation that enables, institutions to endure into the long term. We talk a lot around sustainability. And I know that when we talk about sustainability, the first thing that comes to people's mind is, oh yeah, the environment, we want to preserve the environment. So it's a lot about, what you do to the environment. But there's also an aspect of sustainability that is governance related. And that's really about building strong institutions that endure into generations. The organization that I work for is almost 100 years old in Nigeria. And I'm always, anytime I think about it, I'm always very, I'm odd. I'm asking myself that, what did this one man, so it started with one man saying, I think that I want people to have a good hygiene. So I start producing bars of soap. And I start selling these bars of soap, especially to women, because women are more prone to, hygienic things, because first of all, you go through different periods of your life where, it's really extremely important that you're hygienic. And then obviously spreads to women, to men as well. And then that simple, small company that started with producing just one bar soap under one brand name. has now become a company that is over the world today and that has endured for over 100 years, you know. When you think about that, you want to ask yourself that why is that? In fact, I also know of another company, and it's not even one. I know of a man who used to be so well known. I'm not going to mention his name because if I mention his name now, every one of you will know him. And he had about 23 companies that were thriving, you know, excellent companies they were. If you mention the names of those companies, you remember some of them for those of you who were maybe very well versed with the business world. And then the man passed for one reason or the other. And I'm telling you that today, out of those 23 companies, there's none that's surviving today. No, none. So you ask yourself, what is the difference between a company that has endured for 100 years and it couldn't even, you know, outlive it? It's just simply, so you take your ICSAN training, you take your exams, you take your modules, you pass them, you become a graduate, and the certificate lands in your hands, you become a governance professional. You become involved in nation building, in corporate building, in, you know, that's the gravity for me we hold. The second thing is that you become a professional administrator. You become a professional administrator. And in that capacity, you can do a varied number of things. You know, you can see on the screen, you know, the opportunities that are available for you. And I know that many times we talk about being company secretaries, but I know that a lot of our colleagues that have gone ahead to become so many other things. You can become a chief operating officer. You can, you know, whatever it is you want to be, managing directors actually, because I remember that the likes of, you know, our legends that have gone ahead of us, you know, who had the chartered secretary certificate, actually rose to become the managing directors of their organizations. So it gives you limitless possibilities. Those certificates, more opportunities ahead of you. You can be the chief governance officer, corporate manager, management consultant, human resources director, executive, chief corporate advisor, just name it. Tax manager, you know. Some of our colleagues, because also you have accounting modules that you do, I've also gone ahead to become, you know, professional accountants, if that's where your flair is. So very, very important that, you know, what we have in our hands is like gold. Many times we don't understand it. And I think the import of this program today is to give you some overview, you know, and some information that enables you to use appropriately, you know, your certificates. All right, so let's talk about a few tips for success in terms of what you do with that certificate. I think for me, the first and always the landing page for me is always about purpose. So it's always good for you to sit down, you know, take your time to clarify what your purpose is. What do you want to do? At an early age, I wanted to be a lawyer, but I was very quick to say, I'm not just going to be any kind of lawyer, because like some of us that read law, we all read learning the law. I wanted to be a corporate lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer in a corporate organization. School. And I told myself, oh, I will go and practice law for like maybe 2 years or so, and then I will go into the corporates, you know, and then become company secretary, to be like, before you can become company secretary, you know, you will swear to and everything. It used to be the big goal at that time. But I submit to you today that for the certificate that you have in your hands, because yes, you can become secretary, but you should also aspire to become much more as well, because the certificate that we have gives us, you know, the rounded training and professional clout, you know, to become whatever it is that we want to be. The second thing you should do in terms of purpose is to identify where your career options are. You know, he don't put any limitation on yourself. Some people have told me that, oh, the corporate, you know, it takes a while. They don't really take people. It's difficult to get into the corporate environment and all sorts of things. And I'm going to tell you now that, you know, ICSAN has even made it easier for you to be able to land a corporate job. Because when you go through the ICSAN graduate internship, which I think I'm jumping ahead of myself now, you know, you have the vantage opportunity to make a difference, to learn, all right? So anyway, identify your strengths, do a SWOT, a analysis of yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? What are your threats? You know, have a soul-searching examination of, you know, what you want to do, where you want to go. Because when you know, they said that my people perish for lack of vision, you know. When you don't have a vision of where you even want to go, you will just be aiming, you know, you will just be going around aimlessly. So clarifying purpose for me was very important. They seemed very far-fetching, you know, at the time. But today, I'm grateful that, you know, I can say that, you know, God has helped me thus far, all right? The second thing is an exposure. So you have to allow yourself to be exposed. Don't just take that certificate and put it under in a box or something. Ask yourself that with this certificate now, what can I do? So first of all, try and get coaching and mentoring. Again, ICSAN offers you fantastic opportunities. You have lecturers that have taken you through your modules. You have, you know, council members, council leaders. You can approach, ICSAN is approachable. That's one institute that I kept going to, you know, I kept going there. Maybe it's because it's of the proximity to my place of work. But I kept going to the ICSAN office. I knew everybody there, kind of, you know, all the people that are there. I'll talk to them and have a conversation and all of that. So get yourself some coaching and mentoring program. Put yourself on it. It doesn't have to be formal. It can be informal. Approach someone that you admire, that you've seen do what you want to do or achieve what you want to achieve, and, you know, get some mentorship. The other thing is internship. And I'm going to talk about the graduate internship, because what it does for you is that it lands you right in the middle of where you want to go eventually, and gives you that opportunity to learn. How is it done here? You know, if you perhaps decide that it's a public enterprise where you want to have your build your career, you know, you can actually get a graduate internship in that. But mostly corporate organizations now, I think we focus a lot around corporate organizations. And then you can learn a lot and also use that opportunity to make an impact. What I have found out in my organization is that when people come and they do things like 3 months, 6 months, maybe we have somebody who's going on maternity leave and we decide to take someone, you know, that work with us for maybe like 3 months or 6 months. Those people always tell me that, first of all, what they learn in that short 3 or 6 months, they've used it to get fantastic jobs. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when we now have a vacancy, I'm not going to go out again, because I've already experienced some interns that I've seen how they've done their work well, how they're focused, how they're very, you know, committed to the work. Then I'll just go ahead and say, why don't you come in? Because now we have a vacancy. And, you know, we've had success stories around that, where people have just done 3 months, 6 months, you know, and we're able to offer them a job later in their lives. And these people, they don't know us from Adam. They don't know me from Adam. So I know that there's a myth that, oh, unless I know somebody, I cannot get ahead. Please take that myth off you. If you are good, you know, the chairman of council, our president said a lot around that today, that, you know, you can make a difference. You yourself, it's in your hands. It's not in the hands of anybody. It depends on how you are developing yourself. And I'm going to go to personal mastery now, all right? Then the last thing under exposure is continuous development. Continue to develop. I talked about the ICSAN webinars. Don't let them, you know, some of them, a lot of them are free. And there's a tendency to take them for granted, to feel, oh, these people, they're always bugging us. I don't even have data. Meanwhile, you have data to browse on the internet. You have data to chat. You have data to go on Instagram. Me, I would rather conserve my data to attend an ICSAN webinar than, you know, use it to chat with my friends on Facebook. And I'm not saying those things are wrong. I'm just saying that when you need to prioritize, you need to tell yourself that, you know, I'm prioritizing right. I'm doing what is giving me exposure and giving me, you know, so that when I decide I want to get a job or I'm trying to get into an organization, the things you've learned, those things, they come to you. You're able to speak confidently, you know, about those things. The next thing is personal mastery. And this one is extremely important because we've had interns that have come. I remember there was an intern that came into, and this was not an ICSAN graduate intern, it was an NYSC intern. And when I spoke to the guy, I thought he was very brilliant, but there was something, he was booming. So I spoke with him with somebody else, a junior colleague of mine at that time. So as soon as we finished that interview, I said, this guy is so brilliant, but he needs to do something to the sort of the body odor that I was getting. So I said, but I think I'm going to give him a chance because, you know, I sort of also spoke to him. He was kind of the first in his family that is really going to, you know, have this sort of education. He was, you know, I thought he had so much potential. I wanted to give him a chance. So I told my junior colleague, I said, you have a conversation with him that is not, I'm not involved in it. To tell him that we will take him because he was absolutely the best. We did a written test. We did an oral examination. It came out tops. And I told my colleague, tell him that he needs to do something about that. That just tell him what to do. You know, fortunately, we're an organization that we also sell deodorants and all of that. So I told him, tell him to use this deodorant. Tell him to make sure that, you know, and all of that. And this guy did 1 year with us, you know, NYSC. And when he finished that NYSC, I couldn't even recognize him. He was so different. And then he went on to get a job in a fantastic law firm, you know. So I'm just saying that grooming is extremely important. Let me tell you that we've all had times when what we had was a black skirt, a white top, another maybe top, and all of that. But we've moved away from that now. So don't feel that I don't have enough. The little that you have, iron your shirt. I tell people, starch your shirt, iron it. Even if that's the only shirt you have, wash it, iron it, starch it. When people see you, they won't even know that that's the only, even if that's the only shirt you're wearing all the time, people won't know because you're always on top of your game. Recently, somebody shared a video of one guy that sells kola nut on the streets of Abuja, I think, and he wears his suit. And then he was saying that he will come home. So they were teasing him that, how can you be selling kola nut and you are wearing suits? Won't you? Is it not heat that will kill you? And this is and the guy was saying, no, I know where I'm going. I want to go to school. I want to do this, and I'm dressing for it. I was so impressed. You know, it's an extreme case, but I'm telling you, tomorrow we can hear about that guy and hear that maybe he has become a lawyer, he has become an ICSAN graduate, and is working in a, you know, you can never tell. So I'm just saying that whatever it is you have now, treat it well, you know. And then communication. I think our president, you know, alluded to it about your communication skills. Own your communication skills. I used to be extremely an introverted person, and I prefer to write, you know, I prefer to write. I will write, when I write, people tell me, what you've written is, you know, excellent and all of that. And I was on that zone for a long time to say, oh, I'm a fantastic writer, you know. But when it comes to, you know, speaking publicly, I was shy away, not because I cannot do it, but, you know, my personality wasn't just in that line. Then after a while, I started learning about having a growth mindset, wanting to develop yourself. Those things are difficult for you to do. There are some people that are natural, like I think my sister, Biola, last time, if you wake her up, maybe in the middle of the night, she will just give it to you like that. She's a natural, you know, but I started looking at people like that and, you know, learning from them. And then when people ask me, come and have a session with us, initially I used to decline. If they say, come and have it, if they say, write something, I would jump at it. If they say, come and write, come and talk, I would say, I don't think so, you know. But when I got into that space, when I told myself that somebody with a growth mindset is someone that keeps working on his or herself and building new skills, I decided I wanted to build new skills. So when they came to me again, I would say, okay, it's fine, I'll do it. Even though I know I have to over-prepare. You know, there's some people, they don't need to prepare to talk. They will just get there and they'll talk. But if you have a personality like mine, you might have to do some preparation. And as I did that over the years, I found out that it got easier. You understand? You can wake me up and say, come and have a conversation with me and publicly, and I can do it. So I'm just saying that, you know, building your communication skills and then being versatile. Ask yourself what's going around you. You know, all of those things that you're learning, they add, you know, to who you become, you know, later in life. I'm going to run quickly now and talk a bit about your job, your work trajectory, securing a job, you know. And if you look at it, for me, I've put it on like 3 levels. When you come in, you're mostly inexperienced, you know. Anyway, it depends on when you've done when you become a graduate. I did mine, I think I started earlier in my career. So by the time I was done with my ICSAN certificate, I was still a bit junior in the organization, but not, you know, not inexperienced. So it depends, I think. But most people now, I even know some people that start their ICSAN from when they are in the university because you have a bit of time on your hands. So, but when you first join the organization, and if you are not a mid-career recruit, you're probably in the inexperienced zone. And the things you need to do is to make sure you are learning. You are taking it in. Every experience, you are using it as a learning organization. Someone told me, one of the youth corpers that we took said, we went through an AGM network or an AGM timetable, you know, that she did with us. And she was now a member of the AGM committee by virtue of the fact that she was an intern within the legal secretarial team. She said that she now went and got a job. I won't mention when, but a fantastic, she told us, she was the one telling me this, I didn't know about it, you know. She came back and told us that, did we know that everything that she learned in that AGM committee, even though she was a junior member of that committee, and they were asking her at that interview, she was just reeling it out to them. She was just saying, okay, if we're going to do the annual general meeting, we have we come up with a timetable. We have a multifunctional team, you know, made up of our finance colleagues, corporate affairs, this and that, procurement. And, you know, she was just telling them everything that she went through in her like 1 year in my team. And then she landed herself a fantastic job. So when you are in that place, even if your work level is the most junior, take it in, make sure that you're learning. And then of course, your mid-career, if you become a mid-career or you come in as a mid-career, at that time, consolidate all the things you've learned. You know, learn more, take in more, but consolidate, begin to clarify for yourself. Having gone through all of these experiences, where do I want to go to? And then of course, you are able to launch into leadership. And at that point, what you should be doing is a lot of giving back, training other people, helping to develop other people. And, you know, and that's the way it would usually work. So I know it's very streamlined, and maybe in between there are places that, you know, there are other levels. But for myself, that's the way I've dimensioned the levels that I've gone through, you know, in my professional career life. And then what are the important things, you know? I think Mr. President also talked about the CVs. There are loads of CVs templates. So if you go apply to a job and you send a CV that is mediocre, what immediately tells me is that you're a mediocre person yourself, because you have not pushed yourself. When we were trying to get a job, there was no, internet hadn't developed this way. I couldn't find, I had to be, well, I found templates, but they were very few. They were maybe template that somebody else had used. But now just Google curriculum vitae free templates. You understand? And thousands of templates are available for you. So if you don't do your CVs properly, what it tells the prospective employer is that you are a mediocre person. I shouldn't hire this person. If the small thing of trying to do a CV, the person can't even do it, then why would I hire you? You understand? And then your cover letter, fantastic cover letter, templates. Templates are there. Just adapt it to fit what you're trying to do. And then highlight your key achievements. A lot of us put our responsibilities, all well and good. But what the employer wants to see is your key achievements. And some people put achievements even from secondary school that gets attention, that, wow, this person from a young age is already, you know, doing this sort of things. And they don't have to be big things. They just have to be maybe leadership positions that you occupy, things that, you know, a problem that you solved, something like that, you know. And then now you have to be careful about your social media footprints, because employers, they Google you. They go to LinkedIn and check you out. They go to Instagram and they check you out. Before they take you, they are looking at all the nonsense comments, you know, that you are making, that is not allowing people to think of you as a professional. You understand? So very, very careful about what you are doing on social media. And I know that a lot of young people spend time on social media. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the internet age. It's fantastic opportunity, has its own limitless possibilities. However, make sure that what you are doing on social media is such that when people look at it, because it all adds up to your persona, to the person that you are. If they go on the internet and they find out that you're saying all sorts of things, you are, you know, involved in some shady deals and all of that, that's already a no. We're not going to take this person. So very important to look at that. All right. And then on the interview, in terms of interview, you know, some people come late for interview. I don't know. For me, it's unforgivable. And I know that there is if you are in Lagos, so anywhere else too, I know, but if they're in Lagos, there's always traffic. So you can no longer use traffic as an excuse. All right. Already determined that there will be traffic that day. So behave like there will be traffic. If you have an interview at 10 a.m., leave your house, you know, because some of us, if it's a visa interview, leave our house at 4 a.m. So you can no longer use, oh, I was stuck in traffic. And the thing about traffic is that it graduates. If you leave at 7, you just breeze through. If you leave at 7:15, you will begin to experience some big traffic. If you leave at 7:30, you can spend 4 hours in that place. It just depends on it. So I'm saying that if this is really important, then leave early. It's better that you are waiting there, and even before they open their gates, you are there. Then you get there, the employers, the interviewers are there, you are not there, you know. And now that we're even doing virtual interviews, that's even, you don't even have any excuse. So I think that, you know, timeliness is extremely important. Dressing for the top, I think I've already talked about grooming, so I'm not going to belabor the point. You know, the little that you have, make sure you use it well, you wear it well. When they see you, they won't even know that that's the only formal wear you have, because you've treated it properly. Demonstrate self-confidence. You understand? Some of us can be jittery. Nobody is going to kill you. It's either they take you or they don't take you. So make sure that you allow yourself to be confident, and then be authentic. Don't begin to try and form what you are not. Don't begin to talk down on your maybe previous employers or previous places where you've worked, just so that you can say, but that's why I'm now coming to your organization. The employer will shake their head and say, this is how this person will be talking about us when he or she leaves, our organization. And then highlight your key achievements, the things you've done, the solutions you've provided, problems you've solved, how your little action has made a big difference. And then, of course, demonstrate that you are the best person for the role, And then, of course, keeping your job when you now get this fantastic job that, the ICSAN certificate has helped you to achieve is, maintain your professionalism. In corporate organizations, there are always politics happening, but you are the governance professional. And let me tell you something, even the leaders, they're always looking for people that will tell them the truth. Because a lot of people suck up to leaders. A lot of people tell them what they want to hear. But they know that there are people who, will tell them the truth. By God's grace, my MDs, they always come back to me and tell me, Bidemi, you tell me something. Because they know that I'm not going to mince words with them. I'm just going to tell them, I didn't think that the way you handled that thing was, in a nice way. You could have been better. You could have been more kind. You could have been more, and all of that. And then they listen. So maintain your professionalism. The reason why they keep coming back, and I've just noticed it, is because they know that, I would be professional about it. I'm not going to take anybody's sides. Because my role as a governance professional demands that I'm independent, and I bring independent judgment to bear on the organization. Growth mindset is that you are learning every time. You are growing, you are developing new skills. So I told you about, my initial encounter around, public speaking. Today, I've overcome it. I'm moving on to new skills to learn. So tell yourself that you want to learn new skills. Personal branding. There's a persona that you have. There's a personal branding that you have. Without, you might not know, but there's a way that when your name pops up, people think about you. You understand? They can think about you as, that unserious person, or they can think about you as that professional person, or that person that, will add value to what we're trying to do. So build a personal branding that is a personal brand that is positive. You understand? And I'm not saying that you begin to, how do I say it now? Yes, you should get some help. I know that they'll help you. But I'm just saying that just be yourself. Be yourself and ask yourself, how do I want to be perceived? How do I want people to think about me? Be a fantastic team player. So it's not just, and I know there are some people that they just want to, it's just them. Anytime you hear about them, imagine that it's only Mr. Ayeku, our president alone, that is involved in ICAN. ICSAN. Every time you hear about ICSAN, it's only Mr. Ayeku. That's not how it works. He has given opportunities for so many people. You go on that governance platform on TV, there are a lot of our professionals who are speaking. You understand? So be a team player, work together with people. You understand? That's why we have council. That's why we have council members. That's why, just because we want to be a team. And the thing about it is that none of us is as strong as the sum of us. So when you think you are fantastic, you are still not as good as the sum of us. So work with people, build a professional network. I cannot begin to tell you what my own professional network has done to me. I used to just sit in my office quiet. And I think the likes of, ICSAN, helped me to connect with the right people. Then I was put on a platform of fellow company secretaries and legal advisors, and my life changed forever. Because anything that is going on, we are discussing it there. You understand? Somebody will raise it. Somebody will ask a question. You understand? People will provide answers. Sometimes when I'm very busy, I'm not able to participate there. But when I go back and I'm reading all those things, I'm just saying, this thing is invaluable. You understand? The professional network that, you build, and then talk leadership material, start writing. No matter how small, write something. You know, there's something topical that is going on, research it, write something, put it on the, you know, I even think that this age, you have more than enough opportunities, you know, to make a difference that we didn't have when we first started. Now you can write something and put it on LinkedIn, you write something and put it on Instagram or Facebook, and people are reading what you're saying. They comment on it, they say all sorts of things, and by that, you're building a profile, you're building a brand, you know, about your person. And all of those things help you to keep your job, because, you know, an organization also wants people that they feel, oh, these people have their own clout and they bring something to the table. So very, very, very important. I'm going towards rounding up. I think this is about my last, or second to the last slide. So what I would say is that you have a fantastic opportunity with your ICSAN certificates, and I want you to make it count. You know, set your career goals, set your goals of where you want to go. Go and seek for target personal development. I told you about all the ICSAN webinars. Don't take them for granted. They're, you know, quite a bit, but they're very rich. I don't think I've ever gone for an ICSAN webinar that I've come out and I felt, maybe they shouldn't have held this seminar. Not ever. It's always been enlightening. It's always been enriching. So avail yourselves of them. If you have to pay, pay. Because some of us spend money on things that are not as important. You understand? And then be circumspect. Think about the time. You know, keep evaluating yourself. Keep getting feedback from people, you know, and asking yourself whether after 5 years of holding an ICSAN certificate, you are where you should be. You understand? That's really being circumspect, thinking, evaluating things, getting feedback from people. All of those things are extremely important. And then I'm going to leave you with Ellen Keller's quote that life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. So dare to live life, dare to use your certificate to achieve your goals and to achieve, you know, where you want to, your purpose as well. Don't be laid back. Don't be less than what, you know, you can be. A lot of us, you know, we've gone through the modules, we've burnt the midnight oil, and we just feel, yeah, I think I've done it. No, you are just starting. So the adventure is not just starting. The daring adventure is just starting. If you don't live every day like that, you'll find yourself that, you know, you are just not having the progress that you want. But I know that, you know, the ICSAN is here to support you through that process. I think this is one of the institutes I know that throughout your career life, there's support. So please avail yourself of the support that you have. You know, one of it is what you are getting today. Make the best use of it. Dare to be great. Dare to achieve your dreams and dare to achieve your goals. And I'll just, on that note, I would just like to say a big thank you for listening. I'll take some questions and comments, and then, you know, I think we can round up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Virtual class, virtual class. Dademola, you know, from the way you spoke, you didn't really need those slides. You spoke passionately, you spoke from your heart, and you laced up the whole points you have raised with your personal story. So it really made it very, very lively. And, you know, it was like I was just, you know, reading a story, a novel. Thank you so much for that. I'll actually some of your key highlights from the presentation. You've charged us that with the qualification, we can easily take up a wide range of goals, you know, across the various sectors of the economy. Chief Risk Officer, Corporate Services Executive, Human Resources, and of course, our own forte company secretariat work. Then you went on to define a few success tips for us, like identifying our purpose, broadening our horizon by coaching and mentoring, and of course, leveraging our personal mastery. He also charged us to take advantage opportunity to learn and become the very best version of ourselves. You mentioned the growth mindset a lot and how your own personal mastery, you were able to leverage it to move from one position to another. And there. And of course, you also highlighted what a career work trajectory should look like and the need for us to be intentional about our growth and career development, and going through all those stages and getting to the point where we are giving back, or what I like to term the legacy mode, where you attitude back. You also talked about some critical success factors, and in everything you have said, you have highlighted some must-haves for getting and keeping the job. Thank you for the story, about even the NYC guy. A lot of us can relate with that, because like some of us, you can't really be the best judge of yourself. As simple as it is, some of us can't smell ourselves. So if we have someone who will pull you and say, please brush your teeth well, take all the odors out, instead of you discarding the guy because of that. So that was really, really, a good leadership skill you displayed there, because that guy would have just gone because of something as important but as little as that. And then on a final note, you've had qualification count and to dare to make a difference. Thank you. Personally, and I know that a lot of our participants, all of our participants, as a matter of fact, did. Would appropriate time, but we'll want to go right into the next paper. Thank you so much again, Mrs. Ademola.